And here we are. Quite the time saver. These stairs lead directly to Central Hall. You can get almost anywhere in the castle quickly from Central Hall. Always something happening here. It's the heart of the hive. Our King's Cross station, so to speak. That should be all for now. You'll be expected to it. And I'd like to be sure you get to Hogsmeade as soon as possible to replace the supplies you lost on the way here.
Thank you, Professor Weasley.
A lot to absorb on your first day, and you have much to learn. Happily, your professors have agreed to create additional assignments for you outside of class. You'll be up to speed in no time. Judging by your adept use of Revelio earlier, I'd say Professor Fig succeeded in at least showing you the basics.
He did, Professor.
He's been terribly vague as to the events preceding your arrival, specifically about what happened after that awful dragon attack. My suspicion is that there's more to the story than a search for belongings and an extended trip up to the castle.
We did take a bit of a detour on the way here. Ended up exploring some ruins and... I shouldn't say more.
Exploring ruins? Well, I presume Professor Fig has his reasons for keeping the details to himself for now. Speak of the devil, Professor Fig. Your ears must have been burning.
Oh?
Yes. You seem to have provided our new fifth year with a solid foundation in the basics of spellcasting.
Ah, I'm afraid I can't take all the credit there, Professor. They've a rare aptitude for magic, it seems.
Well, I'm just glad you both arrived in one piece. Perfectly good boats and carriages to Hogwarts, and you chose to fly in the path of a dragon.
I wouldn't say I chose the dragon's path, Professor. Rather unfortunately, it would seem that it chose us.
Very well. Enough chit-chat. I need to get to class myself. Might I rely on you, Professor Fig, to explain the details of the field guide's map?
Of course.
Thank you. Good luck today. And remember, use your field guide. It will be invaluable to you.
Yes, Professor.
Come and find me in my classroom after you've attended both classes today, and I'll explain more about those assignments I mentioned. And we'll see if we can't get you to Hogsmeade for those supplies.
It's good to see you, Professor.
And you. I was hoping our paths would cross today, before you immersed yourself in studies. Did I hear you and Professor Weasley talking about exploring?
She caught me off guard. I didn't tell her anything else about our travels here. I will say, I think she suspects we're not being entirely forthcoming.
Yes, well, Professor Weasley is a brilliant and astute witch. It was right to keep the details to yourself for now. We don't know where this path we've embarked upon will lead. It may require a bit more flexibility with your time than she would approve of. And she may feel obliged to share
Understood, Professor.
Good. Happily, you have the... Why don't I show you the clever enchantment? The map is enchanted to help you find your way.
This will be incredibly helpful. Thank you.
Now, sounds like you'll enjoy Mr. Ollivander. I shall reach out when I... For now...
Protego!
Is that all you've got?
Levioso!
Professor Hackett!
Perhaps you'd be good enough to blast each other to pieces on your own time. I get new students every year, but I only have one Hebridean black skull. It was a token from the Great Poacher Raid of 1878. No doubt you've heard of it. Now, you may be asking yourself how an old woman like me single-handedly took out the largest poacher ring in eastern Wales and...
Levioso!
Now, let's try something a little larger. Let us begin with the basic cast. See how the dummy deflected your cast? This time, cast Levioso first, then the basic cast. Remember, a surprised opponent is a weak opponent. As good. Now, the basic cast. Well done. Very good, but the best way to practice is by dueling. We'll start with you two. Duelists, take your marks.
Time for a proper Hogwarts welcome.
Now, I want a fair duel, using only Levioso, basic cast, and Protego. You may begin.
Levioso!
Good form.
I know! Protego! Nothing lucky about it.
A perfectly executed Levioso.
This can't be your first duel.
Let's just say I'm a quick learner.
Protego.
Levioso!
Case things.
I do enjoy a lively duel. Only all of my students were this adept.
You're good.
How perceptive.
Try to anticipate your opponent's next move.
Not bad for a beginner. You give as good as you get.
I put you on the spot, and you rose to the challenge. Points to Gryffindor.
Thank you, Professor Hackett. Glad to have the opportunity to practice.
If what I've seen today is any indication, we can expect great things from you. I demand excellence from my students. They are capable of achieving it, and they must achieve it. A classroom duel is one thing, but battling dark wizards, or as ever more likely, goblins, is a different kettle of Grindylows entirely.
Understood, Professor.
So, I'd advise you to keep practicing whenever you can. Perhaps Mr. Sallow will have some ideas for you. Again, well done today. All right. That's enough spectacle for one day. Class is dismissed.
I'd hate to face Professor Hackett in a duel.
Oh, I'm not much for dueling. I prefer to keep things friendly.
Nice work.
I enjoyed that.
Well, that duel was quite something. Everyone will be talking about it.
It was certainly good practice.
Practice. It felt more like I was dueling an expert. Sebastian Sallow, by the way. Didn't expect a new student to be so deft with a wand. Then again, perhaps this wasn't your first duel.
I've dueled enough. Consider yourself lucky I held back.
Huh, fair enough. You owe me an honest duel when you aren't. You know, you might be a perfect fit for a certain
Exclusive and unsanctioned. Count me in.
Excellent. Knew I was right about you. You just have to be clever enough not to get caught.
Thank you, Sebastian. I'll keep that in mind.
Good. Pleasure chatting with you. I'm sure I'll see you soon. Perhaps somewhere unsanctioned? We'll see if your performance today was sheer luck or actual skill. Look for Luke and Brattleby near the clock tower entrance. Till next time.
Revelio.
Leave me be!
Professor Ronan tends to go on a bit. We sometimes have to remind him to finish the lesson.
Accio!
That is not bad.
You are a swift learner. I see a lot of potential, but remember... Very simply, cast Accio on one of the spheres and relinquish your charm at the last possible moment. Now, think of this like gobstones, if you will. Very good. Stay focused. Splendid! Not to worry.
Accio!
That's it! Very good. Points to Gryffindor. But there's certainly no sport in playing without some friendly competition. Miss Onai, would you care to give our new student a bit of a challenge? Come on up. You'll be the blues, just as before, and Miss Onai, you are playing red. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Here we go!
That is how it's done.
Accio!
Excellent control there.
Let us see this. Phew. Nicely done. Be sharp. There we go.
Accio!
Splendid! Let us make this a bit more interesting, shall we?
I think we are well past interesting at this point.
I'll say.
Enough chatter. Focus now. You will need it. This round settles it all.
Watch this. Yes! Not exactly your typical lesson, is it? Not that I mind.
Accio!
Happens to the best of us.
Let us see this. That is how it's done.
Very good.
Here we go. Phew.
Accio!
Well done.
Very good, both of you. Well done. Class is dismissed. Gather your things on the way out.
Well done back there. You took the loss in stride. Took me weeks to become proficient with Accio. Took weeks for me to get any...
That's good to hear. It's a lot to take in all at once.
To put it lightly. I remember how I felt when I first arrived. I transferred here from Wagadu just before my 4th year. My mother received an offer to teach divination here. Before I knew it, we had left Uganda and...
Well, it's been nice talking and competing with you.
And with you. Ah, I think Professor Ronan wants to talk to you. Better not keep him waiting.